Commanders fans, welcome back to the channel. As always, we're working hard to keep improving our coverage and bringing you the most important updates about our team. The Washington Commanders are on a mission to get better every single day. And right now, the front office and coaching staff are making adjustments that could define the rest of this season. Before we dive into today's breaking story, the one move that might actually save the Commanders season, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button to support the channel, and if you're new here, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single update from Commanders HQ. Now, let's get into it. Over the past 2 weeks, one of the most glaring issues for Washington hasn't been the quarterback, hasn't been the running backs, hasn't even been the defense. It's been the offensive line. More specifically, the right side of the line has been a major weak spot, and it's been costing this team dearly. Through the first 2 games, rookie first-round pick Josh Connerly Jr. has taken some heat. But the reality is this: the biggest problem has been at right guard. Nick Allegretti has struggled mightily, and while casual fans might not notice an interior lineman's mistakes right away, the coaching staff definitely did. And with Jaden Daniels already nursing a knee sprain, Washington couldn't afford to ignore it anymore. So here's the news. The Commanders are benching Nick Allegretti and moving Andrew Wiley inside to play right guard. This isn't just a tweak. This is a calculated, deliberate move to stabilize the line, protect the quarterback, and keep the season on track. Let's be real. When you draft a franchise quarterback like Jaden Daniels, your #1 priority is keeping him healthy. Washington fans know the painful history here. We've lived through the Robert Griffin III saga. Nobody in this building wants to repeat that mistake. Daniels has already been under constant duress, especially from the right side. The coaching staff made it clear this week, enough is enough. Andrew Wiley, who has 88 career starts and Super Bowl experience with the Kansas City Chiefs, will now slide over to guard. Yes, he struggled at times at tackle against speed rushers, but inside at guard, he brings stability, strength, and a veteran presence. That's exactly what this offensive line needs right now. And let's not forget, this change doesn't just help the quarterback. It also helps Connerly Jr. at right tackle, who now won't have to worry about constantly covering for Allegretti's breakdowns. With Jaden Daniels sidelined this week due to his knee injury, Marcus Mariota is getting the start against the Las Vegas Raiders. And while Mariota isn't the electric dual threat Daniels is, he still needs a clean pocket to operate effectively. He's not as mobile as he used to be. So this adjustment on the line isn't just about the future. It's about winning right now. Washington is 1-1 heading into week 3. The margin for error in the NFL is razor thin. You don't want to dig yourself into a hole this early in the season. That's why this move could be season-saving. If Mariota gets decent protection, Washington should be able to take care of business against a struggling Raiders team. And once Daniels is back, hopefully fully healthy, the right side of the line should be stronger than it's been all year. Commanders fans, let's talk about the stakes here. This isn't just another game. Last week, Washington was embarrassed by the Green Bay Packers. Don't let the final score fool you. It wasn't as close as it looked. The offensive line collapsed. Daniels was pressured relentlessly, and now he's injured because of it. To make matters worse, injuries are piling up across the roster. Austin Eckler, out for the season. Dietrich Wise Jr., out for the season. Tight end John Bates, injured. Wide receiver Noah Brown, injured. It feels like everything is hitting at once, and that's why Dan Quinn and Adam Peters had to make this bold call with the offensive line. If Washington drops this game to the Raiders, especially without Daniels on the field, the season could spiral out of control. But if they respond the right way, if this move works, and if Mariota can hold the fort for a week or 2, this could be the turning point. Here's the truth. Great teams don't let adversity define them. They respond. Last year, Washington proved that it was capable of rising above tough moments. They won games they should have won. They even stole a few they probably shouldn't have. And every time adversity hit, they found a way to bounce back. That was the culture Dan Quinn built. That was the poise Jaden Daniels brought as a rookie. Now comes the real test. No Daniels, no Eckler, no Wise. Half the offense missing. A Raiders team waiting to see if Washington is vulnerable. This is where we find out what this team is made of. Some people might hear about a lineman change and shrug, but trust me, this is bigger than it looks. This is about protecting the face of the franchise, building confidence in a rookie tackle, and making sure this season doesn't derail before it even starts. If Andrew Wiley comes in and solidifies that right guard, the ripple effects are massive. It could mean more time for Mariota this week. It could mean Daniels stays healthier long term. It could mean the run game, which has been inconsistent so far, starts finding more lanes. Football starts and ends in the trenches. Washington just sent a clear message. They're not standing pat, they're not accepting mediocrity, and they're willing to make hard decisions for the sake of the team. On Saturday, Washington announced that they've released veteran guard Nate Herbig from the reserve retired list. For those who might not know, this move means Herbig is now an unrestricted free agent. He can work out for other teams, he can sign elsewhere, but it doesn't guarantee he will. Herbig is just 27 years old, but his career has already seen a lot of twists and turns. Coming out of Stanford in 2019, he signed with the Eagles as an undrafted free agent. Against the odds, he made the roster and carved out a role. He went on to play 3 seasons in Philly where he earned a reputation as a dependable interior lineman. In 2022, the Eagles placed a restricted free agent tender on him worth just over $2.4 million, but ultimately decided to move on. That's when the Jets swooped in and claimed him. A year later, Herbig signed a 2-year, $8 million deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers, where he played in all 17 games in 2023, starting 2 at guard. This past offseason, Washington brought him in on a 1-year deal, hoping he'd compete for depth on the offensive line. Unfortunately, things went south fast. Herbig tore his rotator cuff in August last year and missed the entire season on injured reserve. By the time camp rolled around in 2025, he was no longer in the team's plans. So why does this matter now? Because every roster spot, every piece of depth, and every decision on the offensive line carries enormous weight when you're trying to protect your franchise quarterback. The release of Herbig comes at a time when Washington is battling through early season adversity. After a strong Week 1 win, the Commanders stumbled badly against the Green Bay Packers in Week 2. Don't be fooled by the close score, that game wasn't close at all. Washington was pushed around, beaten at the line of scrimmage, and exposed in key areas. To make matters worse, the injuries are piling up. Running back Austin Eckler and defensive end Dietrich Wise Jr. are already lost for the season. Wide receiver Noah Brown and tight end John Bates won't suit up this week. But the most painful loss of all is Jaden Daniels, the rookie phenom, the face of the franchise, the quarterback who has given this team new life, suffered a knee sprain against Green Bay, and he will not be playing against the Raiders. That means veteran backup Marcus Mariota will be under center. Now, don't panic. Mariota isn't some scrub being thrown to the wolves. He's one of the most reliable backups in football. Washington fans will remember last year when he stepped in against the Carolina Panthers after Daniels went down with a rib injury. In that game, Mariota threw for over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and led the Commanders to a decisive win. He can get the job done, but here's the catch. Mariota himself has been dealing with Achilles tendonitis. He missed all 3 preseason games and has been working back slowly. The Commanders are confident he's healthy enough now, but it might take him a few drives to knock off the rust. That's why the pressure is on offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury. His job this week is simple but critical. Make Mariota's life as easy as possible. That means establishing the run, leaning on playmakers like Deebo Samuel in creative ways, and keeping the offense on schedule. And let's not forget the defense. Coordinator Joe Witt Jr. has to deliver a far better performance than we saw last week. The defense looked flat, disorganized, and too easy to pick apart. If that happens again, Mariota won't have a chance. Let's be honest, this Week 3 matchup against the Raiders is more than just a regular game. It's a crossroads for the season. Washington has had a week and a half to regroup. They're at home, they're facing a Raiders team that just got embarrassed on short rest. This is a game the Commanders should win. In fact, it's a game they must win. Because here's the reality. Another loss or even an ugly, uninspired win, and this season could spiral. The national narrative would turn. Washington would go from being talked about as a Super Bowl sleeper to being labeled one of the league's biggest disappointments. And worse than that, the locker room morale would take a hit. This is when we find out who the Commanders really are. Do they thrive on adversity, or do they crumble when things get tough? So what does Nate Herbig's release have to do with all of this? On its own, it might feel like a small move, a backup guard who never played a snap for Washington, now a free agent. But in the bigger picture, it signals something important. It tells us that this team is tightening the ship. No wasted spots, no passengers. If you're not part of the present or future plan, you're not staying. Every decision is now geared toward protecting Daniels, building a stable offensive line, and maximizing the roster for a playoff push. Herbig's departure frees up flexibility. It opens a door for someone younger, hungrier, and more durable to step in. And in a season already defined by injuries and tough decisions, that flexibility matters. Commanders fans, here's where I leave it to you. Washington just made the one move that could save their season: benching Nick Allegretti and inserting Andrew Wiley at right guard. It's bold, it's risky, and it's absolutely necessary. But the big question now is this: do you believe this change will stabilize the offensive line and keep the Commanders' season on track? Or do you think it's too little, too late, especially with Daniels already sidelined? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from you. And once again, if you enjoyed this breakdown and you're excited to see how Washington responds in Week 3, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. We've got more exclusive Commanders coverage coming your way every single week. This is Commanders HQ, where we bring you the inside scoop, the real stories, and the passion of being part of this fan base. Until next time, let's hope this move really is the one that saves our season.